Hey guys, how's it going? Thad here with Shoemaker Guitar Works, and what's on the bench today? We have got a very well played, very road played 65, I believe it is, Firebird. And it's seen a lot of use, it's seen a lot of play over the years, but what this thing is in for is at some point the headstock broke off, and let me flip it over and I will show you what I'm going to be doing. So here is the previous repair, and I believe this is either walnut or oak, one of the two, that was stained, and anyway, it's been filled in with glue or something on the ends. These splines were too short, and so and they may have shrunk over the years, whatever, but it's going to get new splines put in it. So I'll take the tuners off and we'll get this thing routed out. I got to figure out how deep these things are and how I'm going to go about this, but he brought me a big chunk of mahogany to make new splines with. Way more than I'll ever need to do this, but that's fine because it'll work. So anyway, yeah, you can see he's got his string gauges put on here or whatever. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. All right, tuners are out and everything's marked as to where they go. I always do that. And so now I'm going to kind of sand on this a little bit, and going to probably drill into both of these to see how deep they actually are, so I know how to go about this. But yeah, shouldn't be too bad of a job. I'm gonna go ahead and take some measurements here first before I do that, and get some plugs cut, rough cut, that we can put in here, some new splines. So anyway, that's where we're at. Man, look at the road wear on this thing. Beautiful. So cool. All right, so what I'm doing is I've got my chisel here, and I'm actually just taking this out by hand right now. After I get most of this out, I will probably go back through with the router and just make sure it's straight on both sides, and then we'll throw the plug in there. And we're getting there. These are, approximately between 1/8 and 1/4 inch deep, something like that. And yeah, as soon as I got to the end there, it just came right off. And so I'm just taking a little bit at a time with the chisel, and I'll get it from here back down that way all the rest of the way. Then I'll flip it around in the vise and go back this way. So anyway, we're getting it out of there, and then I'll smooth everything out. Actually, I'll put the plugs in, I'll carve those down, and then I'll smooth everything out. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but anyway, that's how it's going. All right, we've got the holes cleaned out now where the plugs were. I still got to vacuum out some of the sanding dust. I made a sanding stick here that you just go through and basically fit like it's supposed to, and I'll work on it just a little bit more because there's a couple tight spots on both of them. This one, it gets deeper as it progresses. So this one, when they did it, they must have had the router kind of going downwards, and this one is fairly deep, but it's flat most of the way across. So anyway, either way, it doesn't matter. So what the next steps will be cut up some splines from a chunk of mahogany, get those fit to go in there, and then basically glue them in, let them dry, and we'll carve them down and get them as close to the contour as we can, sand everything. If anything needs any fill, we'll use some of that sanding dust and CA glue and fill it, and then I'll put a little bit of toner over it and a little bit of clear lacquer, and you'll always see it, but it'll be look like an old repair again. So but done correctly. So anyway, that's where we're at with this. All right, guys, the last part of this video, which is part 1, what I've got here is this nice chunk of mahogany, and I've chosen the part with about the tightest grain in it and marked it out. Each one of these is about 4 1/8 in length, and so or 4 1/16 in length. So I marked this at 8 1/4, and that way I'll have plenty. And it's just a hair wider than what we're gonna need for the splines, and so we will sand them down and get them to fit as needed. All right, used old trusty, my 59 Craftsman bandsaw. Got this piece cut out. So now, since I'm a little thick on this, instead of wasting all that time sanding, I'm just gonna run it through my Wen thickness planer. I've got it sitting on top of a piece of wood because the planer doesn't go down that low. And so anyway, I'll bring you back when I've got it all nice and leveled out. All right, and here we've got our spline. And I actually might do another couple passes because it's a little bit thicker than what I thought I made it. So anyway, that's fine because we got room to play with, and this is enough to do both spots there. And so yeah, that's where I'm going to end this episode. Next episode, you see this thing, we will be gluing these in and then dropping them on the floor. Anyway, we'll be gluing them in and carving them down, getting them all nice and level, and yeah, going from there. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.